What's going on, guys? It's Coach Note back in the building with another one. As usual, it's going to be jam packed full of jewels, and your time is always appreciated because you could be doing anything but you hear me checking out these reviews. And this one, as usual, it's a crazy one, man. It's about a guy who wasn't making the right decisions again, and he shot his girlfriend and the girlfriend's mother, plus some guy that they were with. They say that the reports say that it was a guy who was related to the victim. So he shot three people. Two of them were fatal, which means that he unalived them, which was the mother and the girlfriend. And the guy is in stable condition. And then after that, they got into a vehicle pursuit with the suspect, and the suspect tried to unalive himself. He shot himself, but he's in critical condition right now. So let's check it out and see what they had to say.
Well, it's devastating news, obviously, whenever you have a community like ours that we feel is very safe and one that we're proud to promote and encourage people to come and visit and come live in. That you have something happen like this in your downtown. But as you heard Chief Thompson say earlier, we felt like it was an isolated incident that was domestic related. So it wasn't like we had somebody downtown that was just picking off targets at random. It was somebody that was committed to somebody that was related to them in a domestic situation.
All right, so as you heard him say, it was a domestic situation, which means that it was involving like boyfriend and girlfriend, which it was. And like I said, the guy went to well, first of all, there was a emergency protective order, which the girlfriend was going to get, and her mother went with her, and a guy went with them. They didn't say who the guy was. They just said that they were with that he was with them and he was related to them. So three members were shot, including two fatally. So the two were unalive, which was the mother and the girlfriend, man. And the suspect in the incident, who was dating one of the victims, fled the scene, shot himself during a standoff with police, according to the Elizabethtown Police, which they were at. That's in Kentucky. And the shooting happened in a parking lot across the street from the Hardin County Justice Center. That's where they were going to be going to get the protective order from, and they said it happened around like 9 a.m. or shortly before 9 a.m. And it's just a prime example of not being mentally, physically, and spiritually aware, man, of what's going on. Like I've said in a past video, we wrestle not against flesh, but against principalities, man. So this guy clearly had some things that he needed to deal with that he didn't. And those things affected his mental, what I'm saying, more than anything. Like he really needs some mental help. For him to do something like this in broad daylight across the street from a courthouse, which, you know, people are going to hear the shots. You know what I'm saying? Like, police are going to hear the shots. There's going to be police inside a courthouse because, you got to take people in if they go to jail, stuff like that. And it's just police at the courthouse. That's what they're supposed to be there. So if this guy was thinking, he wasn't thinking clearly, man. For him to go pull something like this off.
And you heard him say that it started before an EPO hearing or emergency protective order hearing that they were going to have at our Justice Center. So while I hate that it happened in Elizabethtown, you hate that it would happen anywhere, but wherever the courthouse was going to be, it appears in this situation is where this horrible situation was going to occur. Our prayers are always with the families and the victims and everybody else that's involved. It's just terrible. It's a tragedy. I'm a 23-year law enforcement veteran, similar to Chief Thompson. I've seen quite a bit of this in my career, and domestic situations are never predictable, and they often end in horrible situations like this. And
All right, and that's messed up that they do have to end like that, man, because somebody's not thinking clearly and they're not thinking about the decisions that's affecting them and everyone around them. As I said in every video, the decisions you will make affect you and everyone around you, man, no matter what those decisions are, man. Honestly, why do you even have time to even do something like this? Like, man, people go through stuff all the time, but to do something as drastic as this, like to have to unalive somebody because they just wanted a protection order against you because you was already acting crazy. That goes to show that you were acting crazy to have, them do something like this. And they were right for that. Clearly they were, because you unalived the woman who went to go get the protection order. Speaking of the girlfriend, the reports say that she was 37 years old, and the report says that the mother was 71 years old, and they say that the suspect was either 47 or 49 years old. I believe it was 47 years old. So, and this guy, that's way too old to be doing something like that, man. And then a 37-year-old female, which, that's kind of young, man. And it's sad that her life had to be ended like that. Especially, trying to save herself, trying to protect herself the best way she knew how. And, if she knew the guy was going to be acting like that and doing stuff all crazy, she never would have talked to him in the first place, man. And, as men, bro, we have to be aware of what we're doing, man. And like I say in a lot of videos, we got to be able to stomach anything, man. Especially, a breakup. Breakup should never be that hard, no matter what the breakup was about, man. If the female, cheated, if you cheated or something, man, it's never worth unaliving somebody. It's never worth throwing your life away like that, man. And then on top of that, you shoot yourself too, man. You tried to take your life away because you couldn't handle the consequences of what you did. So obviously you didn't want to go to jail. And like I said, the report said they went on a vehicle a chase, and the guy shot himself, man, because it's a prime example of him not thinking, man, not being thinking everything through. Because if he did, who has time to do this, man? You know what I'm saying? Something like this. It was premeditated because, you showed up at an emergency protective order, which is like a restraining order, for, as they call it different things in different towns, obviously, or order of protection, something like that. And usually they don't even tell you that they're getting one on you. They just go down there and get it, and the sheriff serves the person who, the protection order is served on. So how he found out, I don't know. It just seems like he had to be stalking them, or he still had to be in contact with him, which means she was nice enough to even tell him what she was going to do, or he followed him, because it did say in the report that it was an ambush type of attack that happened on them.
fortunately, that happened in downtown Elizabethtown today. We're just early on in the investigative stages, but you can always look and see if you can improve things. But in this situation, and Chief Thompson touched on it a little bit, it's a parking lot that is located across the street from the courthouse. I mean, you can only monitor so far, and this parking lot is set up for the businesses of downtown more so than the Justice Center. That parking lot is behind the Justice Center. This one was across the street, so you know, you can't prevent everything. You can only do the best that you can, and in this specific situation, it would have been tough to be able to see this coming or prevent it when somebody's committed as apparently the suspect is.
Man, so I mean, I get it. Like what he's saying, that parking lot that they were at. I mean, of course, it's being monitored, but not specifically for the court, for the courthouse. You know what I'm saying? The parking lot for that was directly behind it. And at the same time, the officer's right. Like, who thinks that somebody's just gonna do something like that in broad daylight, like unalive somebody right across the street from the courthouse, man? If and it's definitely not the end. It wasn't the end of the world until he made those crazy decisions. You know what I'm saying? And then to add insult to injury, the report also said that there were children there. It was two children, and they belonged to one of the victims. So five people. The children were unharmed, two were unalive, and one is in stable condition. The suspect is in critical condition. So really six people that two of them aren't there anymore. The other four traumatized for life. Especially those children, man. Like you're not thinking clearly to do something like that, man. Children around, you definitely need some type of mental help. Being that focused on one person to the point where you injured four other people, because including yourself, it's four people that you injured, man. And you try to unalive yourself, man, which is, it makes, like, mental health is so important amongst men, man. Like, if you even think about doing something like this and go through with it, you're not ready for a relationship, man. Like, that's just what it is. You need to focus on yourself, heal whatever trauma that you had to deal with leading up to this, because it was clearly, this is something that it happened. It had to happen before before all of this stuff, because, like, there's nothing that a woman could do or say to make you unalive her, bro. That's just what it is, man. They're not worth throwing your life away. Like, no matter what happens in a relationship, you gotta be able to stomach anything. And this is another case of being in love. Like, you do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. Ignoring red flags on either part, and it doesn't matter like what her red flags were, because obviously the guy just did, this crazy, unthinkable act, man. Which is just, it's sad, man. And again, a sucker stroke, man. Getting out your body, doing stuff that you wouldn't normally do. When a woman has that much power over you, it's really like, man, you shouldn't even be in that situation if a woman could have that much control and power over you, man. Now, she didn't make this guy unalive her, because he did that because he was so focused on her that he felt like this was the only thing, the only way out, which is so many women in the world, bro. Just go date another one, man. But first, heal yourself for real, because now you're not going to get any women, bro. You going to jail, man. As soon as if you make it out of critical condition, you're going right to jail, man. You ruin your life. You threw your life away. You traumatize some children. Their life is never going to be the same. And then, man, it's sad to say, you better hope them kids don't grow up to think like this is the right way to handle a situation, man. Because, kids are like sponges, bro. They soak up everything, man. And They're gonna need therapy at a young age and all of that stuff, man. And that's just sad, bro. You know, it's clearly a, a unwise decision, man, to do something like this. And like I say in every video, the decisions you make affect you and everyone around you, man. And he just affected everybody in, such a detrimental way, man. It's a shame. Like, not only the victims, the kids, himself, but the people around. Them bullets don't have a name on them, man. They could have went anywhere, could have ricocheted and hit something. You could have injured. It could have been worse than what it was. So, and then again, like the officer was saying, they don't plan for stuff like that to happen. This kind of stuff, crazy stuff happens, but who thinks somebody's gonna do that at just a emergency protective order hearing? Like, man, it's just, it's a sad thing, man. And like I always say, fellas, we gotta be aware, man, and you know, work on yourself, bro. Especially if a female can make you feel like this, you need to do some work, man, on yourself, bro. It's never cool to get into a situation like this. Never cool to even arguing with a female, man. She had to go get that, so clearly they were arguing, and he was tweaking, because anytime somebody has to go get a protective order on you, man, they are like, it's fear for their life, or they're scared, and which they shouldn't be, because you should be so focused on yourself. You're not even worried about the female, man. You shouldn't even have that much time to spend with a woman to the point where you contemplate something like this and even go through with something like this. So, man, it's just an example of what not to do, man, and an example of how important it is as men to have your emotions, in control, man. Because when you emotional, stuff like this happens, man, and you live in the moment and make a split second decision is gonna affect your life and everybody's life for the rest of your life. Even if you make it out of something like that, this dude could have easily unalive himself too, but it was meant for him to be in critical condition, So, man, I'm Coach Noob. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you digging this kind of content, man. And until next time, I'm out.